We are in my lab, and it's very funny because we put the cat just right on the counter and he climbed right in the sink.
Hi everybody, this is Joanne. We are in my lab because I have a curiosity rolling around in my head, and this curiosity was brought on by the fact that someone led me to a website called Cats in Sinks. Now there are multiple pictures, very adorable. Cats on the internet go along great together. And I looked at these pictures and eventually got to the point where I thought, I wonder how many cats could fit in my large lab sink. And so this made me think, how could one discover how many cats could fit in any size sink? And it turns out there are a couple ways to approach this. We can approach it theoretically, and we can approach it experimentally. Now, if you tried to imagine me calling the Humane Society and saying, I'm not exactly sure how many cats I need, but would you mind bringing over 2 to 3 dozen? And my hope is there aren't that many that need to be adopted. But could you bring them over so I could use them for an experiment? I'd like to stuff as many cats as I can in the sink and see how many cats my sink will hold. I don't think that would be received very well. It would be hilarious. It would probably be very uncomfortable for the cats. So I think we're left to a point where we probably should approach this issue theoretically. Now, when there are things that we cannot manipulate practically, things like the cosmos, the weather, things like subatomic particles that we can't quite manipulate, we will often take an approach where we will do some theoretical work, and usually this involves math. So let's go ahead and see what my helpers have determined theoretically as to how many cats can fit in a sink.
How many Grauchos do you think could fit in the sink if they all laid down?
2. Let's see, like 5, probably.
You think like 5? Okay, we're going to take measurements of the cat so we can determine his volume. So here from his head to his rear end. Let's see. Adam, write this down. He's 24 inches long.
Write it on the board.
Let's see how wide he is. We'll get at his waist.
Move your hand a little bit.
Yep. He's 9 inches wide. And then when he's laying down like this, we'll see how tall he is. We'll just say to his shoulder. Lay down. Okay. He's 5 inches tall. So the cat is 2,700 centimeters cubed. That is Graucho's volume.
Is that big?
– 26 inches.
Whoa.
Those are the 3 dimensions.
Okay. So first let's convert them into inches.
Oh, you want it in centimeters first?
Yeah.
That'll make it easier?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 times 2.5.
Yeah, so that's 6, 12, 24 plus 6 is 30.
30 centimeters, okay.
32 and a half.
So theoretically, according to our measurements, we can fit 32 and a half cats in that sink if they're packed in really nice and tight.
Okay, so I've laid my theoretical framework for the number of cats I think can fit in the sink. But let's say I am still set on getting experimental proof or disproof of my theory. And this is a very common thing to do, that we start with the theory and then we move on to something more concrete in the terms of an experiment. Now, I absolutely understand that it is impractical to use lots of real cats, so I'm going to use a model, and we use models in science a lot. And my model today is this stuffed animal because it has the approximate characteristics I'm looking for, which is sort of a space-filling object. So this will work, and so if I had enough funding, if I was able to write some sort of grant for approximately 30 stuffed cats, I could get enough money to purchase enough cats to then approximate what it is I would like to know. Now, when it comes to real science, usually we're not using stuffed animals, but for instance, when we want to test a new drug, we don't want to inject those directly into a human being because we don't know how we'll react or even if it works, if it's efficacious. So what we do first is we usually start with the cell culture, and then we move to an animal model, and then we're able to do limited human testing before we are able to create the final product. A little demonstration of adding my models to the sink to be able to get an idea of what I would do if I had even more models to be able to continue this experiment with. I'd like to point out that actually it's true, experimentalists do get the bulk of the funding that is given out to scientists because it does cost money to be able to do experiments and to pay the people who do the experiments as well. So I hope you learned something today about theory and experimentation and how they can be related, and also about using models in science. Thank you so much for listening. All right, bye.